You're watching Moms Matter. I'm your host, Shirin Yadigar, and we're here on Focus TV Network with Dr. Nelly Farnoody, who is going to share with us how to cultivate more empathy and global citizenship in a world that's kind of falling apart. So, Dr. Nelly, you are the voice that all of us need to listen to today to help our children navigate all the violence that we're kind of consumed with.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sharon, for having me. I think when it comes to peace and cultivation of peace, today we know more than ever that the parenting and bringing together a community who's together on this, who is related together on a vision that cultivates empathy and is focused on the value of global citizenship is really, really the key.
Right.
And so it takes a village to raise
Yes.
a child, but also children and the youth are getting together in raising us as parents and educators and rethinking education and what it means to be a student, going through dealing with modern technology and becoming a global citizen.
Well, you came up with this great theory, the way you really live your life, which is called peace learning. And I love it. And I would love for you to share with our viewers what it really is and how to implement it in your household with your children. How do you live peace learning? How do you do that?
Sure. So, close to 20 years ago, when I was just fresh out of graduate school as a clinical psychologist, I started noticing patterns and connections between sort of the field of attachment theory, what it means to help parents become more educated about how to cultivate secure attachment and relationships and raising children who are confident and secure and feel safe, and then a crossover to what it means to also raise children who are culturally competent, meaning that they can navigate within their cultural environments those multicultural facets, and they can internalize and integrate in a way that brings more peace to their environments. And of course, it's an inside out process.
Sure.
Of course, when you bring the whole family in the room, you start to notice that definitely we all have to commit to this process of cultivating peace internally and then to our outer world. But dads have to be on board.
Right.
This is why it's all connected to sort of a mission on cultivating equity, equanimity in the family, the he's for she's, and the moms becoming empowered and finding their voices, and how children and the youth within the family system that is more balanced have more of a voice where they can
Right.
talk about the struggles and the challenges that they face as a global citizen today.
I mean, there are so many. You read this morning in the Wall Street Journal was about anxiety in children and what's going on. I mean, this anxiety and anger is turning into, I want to blow up my school, or I mean, really insane feelings that these children, they can't navigate. And I just wonder, at home, I mean, other than sitting down at the dinner table and really having these conversations, what we can do to really know our child, right? How do we know if our kid really has that high anxiety or high anger levels if they're hiding it and they're going to their room and shutting their door and going on their iPad?
Yeah, it starts with early on, really focusing on what mental health and a balanced individual, what does that look like? And for every individual, that's going to be a different definition. And I think as parents who focus on being balanced themselves,
Right.
we know, as adults, we know if we're not struggling with our own mental health,
Right.
then it's our social responsibility, it's our parenting, peace learning parenting responsibility to then pay attention to our children's ages and stages of development and how they integrate at each stage with this well-being, the wellness, the mental health wellness. which, according to Dr. Dan Siegel, it is interpersonal, neurobiological, and it comes with a lot of insight that parents can have, mindsight, in how to empower their children reach a point of integration.
Right.
And at each age and stage of development, that integration is going to look different. It's going to shift. And so, you know, as a parent who pays attention and you're attuned to your child and you're raising a securely attached child, what that means, what
Right.
that feels like. We all know, I think as parents, we all get a sense of when things are a little off.
Right.
When that state of harmony and equilibrium is no longer
Right.
present at
Right.
home, and becoming more intentional in cultivating that balance at home and at school.
Right. So if that balance is out of whack, you shouldn't blame it on the fact that they're teenagers, because teenagers are out of whack, right?
Exactly.
But is that age appropriate for everyone? You know, or would I say, wow, my kid's having issues, right?
Okay, so it's good to have that awareness that, oh, at certain stages, the child, the teenager, is going to have more need
Right.
to integrate. And teen years are certainly that tricky, stage. But also it comes with a lot of growth. That's also a stage where they're finding their voice, they're becoming more independent, they want to explore, and it's healthy for them to have that space to explore.
Right.
But as a global citizen, as someone who's now very well connected to also a lot of suffering that other human beings
Right.
are experiencing around the world, I think our youth are becoming more awakened to that.
Yes, they
and
are,
they
luckily.
want to help. They want to make sure that they're seen.
Yes.
And so they're more active in showing their presence and,
Right.
and showing you who they are and what their focus is and what they want, their
Right.
needs. And so as parents, peace learning parents, we need to become more aware of how to navigate through this stage with teens who perhaps are a lot smarter than us when it comes to technology. I always say to my mom friends and dad friends that I feel like our kids pretty much by 5th grade, 6th grade, they have outsmarted us on
Yes.
many different aspects of education,
100%.
technology for sure. And so it is our duty and responsibility to then find ways to connect with them, to not lose the relationship, so that along the path of the journey of growth, we are learning together. They feel that we're there for them and they can talk to us.
Right.
And we can find help. Like, for example, this is a period during the teen years where many aware and insightful parents reach out to work with a counselor. They reach out to work with someone who knows how to help them
Right.
get through this passage of growth,
Right.
where they need to talk to a specialist or
Sure,
someone
sure.
who can help them.
It's
guide
challenging
them.
to navigate, absolutely. And
yeah.
I think that, just the easy way would say, oh, they're teenagers, let them be. But that's not. Peace learning is about really cultivating that relationship and spending the time with them and nurturing them and raising them to be, the global citizens that they should be.
Yeah, and consciousness is a big part of it. So I always say the 5 C's of peace learning are compassion, cultivating empathy, which now has many facets.
Right.
And as conscious parents, we are aware of those facets. So since we're aware, we are socially responsible to help create and support our youth who are actually pretty conscious
Right.
on their own.
Yes, they are.
And so we just need to bridge the gap and create those moments that we're connecting and we're feeling more attuned and related, that we feel unified.
Right.
The next stage is communication. This is a day and age where, because of technology, we can quickly go from a non-violent type of communication to a violent communication. And so how do we come alongside our youth in making them aware? You do a great job in bringing these experts who help parents navigate through the use of technology. Common Sense Media does a great job.
Right.
So just being aware and getting help. On a regular basis, I'm talking and consulting with these experts who know how to help our youth navigate with technology nowadays. And so that's a big piece of it. The other piece is the culture of cooperation and not necessarily win. The win, that competitive needing to win in certain communities, we need to stop that. I think that could be a positive step towards stopping school violence. Is if we could change that game, the nature of the
Yes.
game, where we're no longer focused on winning, but rather focused on growing together,
Yes.
growth mindset.
Yeah.
Every individual has an equal human right on this journey, this path of education, and everyone within that equity, equanimity has the right to grow and experience joy and learn.
Yeah.
And so if everyone full-heartedly believed that and believes this, I think we're going to be on a very different educational path. So we need to rethink education in that way.
Yeah.
We can no longer sustain this, someone's going to win and someone's going to
Most
lose.
definitely. Most definitely.
Right? Especially our youth get this, and they're fed up with it.
Yes,
they're
they
angry
are.
about it.
Yes, they are.
And that's why we see all this rage.
Right.
Because if someone is winning and someone's the best and someone's making those spots, then imagine the rest, that 80% who are feeling like losers. And we're responsible
Yes.
as the community.
We are.
Right.
That's right.
So that's a big piece of it. The cultivating the culture of empathy and cooperation and a growth mindset that is behind that culture. And culture is a big piece of this. How do we honor relatedness between diversity?
Right.
So it's not enough. It's no longer enough to just be inclusive.
Right.
We need to find those linkages so that we can integrate.
That's the only way you really will. Absolutely integrate. That's right.
And finally, conservation. How do we, as global citizens, take on an active role to show conservation with money, with recycling, with human relations,
love it.
social.
I love that. Dr. Nelly, amazing, 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 amazing. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your 5 points and how we can all be better global citizens and to have a better future for our kids with your fabulous concept. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You saw Dr. Nelly Farnoody here live on Moms Matter on Focus TV Network. Take this home, practice it at home, and let's make this world a better place.